All right. Welcome to the Study Abroad for Psychology and Biopsychology meeting. My name is Elizabeth Vasquez, and I am the Academic Integration Specialist for UCSB EAP's office. So joining me today are the undergraduate advisors for the Psych Department, Elsie and Joaquin. We're going to be hearing from them later in the presentation. The focus of today's meeting is to relay specific advice for studying abroad as a psych or biopsych major. We plan to cover the why, the where, the how, and then some student stories. So for the why, we're going to be covering why you should study abroad in these majors. For the where, we will be talking about where you might consider going given your major. And for the how, you're going to be able to figure all of this out for that piece. And to where you will be able to find those resources that you need to get the ball going in your application process, hopefully. And then student stories, we'll be able to see some images. Unfortunately, we don't have any returnees this year with us, but rest assured there are many, many students that have studied abroad in your major, and so I'll be able to provide some context for you guys. All right, so why study abroad? We're going to talk about why you should study abroad as a psych or a biopsych major. So you can see some of these images on our screen. These are previous students that have studied abroad in the major. But some, to name a few, are that by taking major classes abroad, you're going to help ensure that you're going to graduate on time or even early, all while having the opportunity and the adventure of a lifetime. I assume that you chose your major because it interests you, obviously, right, as a psych or biopsych major. So why not pursue an interest in another setting that will offer you a completely different perspective and dimension? You may even find courses that could count towards your major and some that can count towards your major and that may not be offered at UCSB. So some psych courses abroad may have a more hands-on practical approach to learning. And I've heard from past students that have gone in as psych majors that they were excited to study organizational psychology, which is a different subject that they hadn't been able to take previously at Santa Barbara. And in addition to coursework, you could do an internship or even a research related to your major abroad. So for example, a student on the bottom of that image, the bottom of the screen in the yellow image, her name is Yin Yang, I believe. She was able to conduct research during her semester in Hong Kong. So again, you too will be able to build connections and grow your social and professional network if you choose to study abroad. And then lastly, for very obvious reasons, you'll not only make yourself more marketable to the workforce, but also you're going to be able to distinguish yourself from your peers when you look at that first job or even apply to graduate school just by your study abroad experience. And I can very much attest to this firsthand. I also studied abroad when I was an undergraduate student, and it very much became a topic of conversation when I was applying and interviewing for my first few jobs out of undergraduate. All right, so where to study abroad for psych and biopsych majors? So the opportunities are very endless. You have a lot of choices. UCEAP offers over 150 programs in 40 countries. That is a lot. So to search for your program possibilities in your psych or biopsych major, you should very much start with the UCEAP website known as the UC Education Abroad. And this is where you're going to find all of the University of California study abroad programs and all of the details. So to sort through the options, I recommend that you use the Find a Program search as I circled in the slide. And so that function is going to be able to kind of give you the different types of program according to your search. Okay, so it's kind of an explore piece for you guys. All right, so without narrowing down your search, you're going to find automatically over 150 programs. So what we ask students to do is to identify first the discipline area and then the subject area. So that way it can narrow down the possible programs for you guys in your major. So as you can see on the left-hand side, that's the filter box. And so I was able to filter social and behavioral sciences and then even further narrow down to the psychology major. That being said, if you click on it and you follow these steps, you're going to see that there are over 70 UCEAP programs offered in the psychology coursework area. You could then even further down your choices more so by selecting the language of instruction. So if you only want to be taught in English, I would encourage you to make sure that you filter through. Otherwise, language of instruction might come up as a different language other than your native language. And then also, if you already have an idea which term you would like to apply for or what term you want to go abroad, go ahead and filter that through as well. So again, this is going to show you different possibilities for you guys. Okay. So here are some featured programs for psychology and biopsychology. I do want to note that our program, our most recent program in Padova, Italy, does not have a limited number of spaces, but the psychology and neuroscience program in the Netherlands does, as many of our summer physics programs does as well. So there are some programs that have that limited spacing. We will be having country-specific and summer physics info meetings all throughout the month of October and into November. So I really encourage you to attend those to learn more. And you are able to do that by looking on our website under the events tab. That tab is going to take you to all of the events that we're going to be hosting in the months to come, including the summer physics one, as well as our regional meetings, right, or country-specific meetings. As you can see, our summer physics programs, as noted on the slide, you'll be able to complete the entire Physics 6 series plus the labs in one summer abroad. That being said, it's a competitive program and spaces are limited. For this upcoming school year, we have two options, the summer in Sussex or the summer in Dublin, Ireland. Okay. Cool. Jump into the next one. All right, so in addition to taking courses in your major, I also highly recommend that you consider doing an internship or conducting research abroad if your program even allows it. Internships are a great way to gain professional experience and to get to know your host community on a deeper level. Research experience looks great on graduate school apps. I know that we already are at a research institution, but again, having that hands-on experience, especially abroad, is really going to make you stand out. We have study abroad programs and that integrate internships and research for academic credit, or most immersion programs will allow for you to arrange it on your own. There have been many Freeman interns who were psych majors who interned with a mental health nonprofit called TEL in Tokyo, Japan. The student on this screen, Haley, was able to conduct research in a neuroscience lab while she was in Melbourne, Australia. So that is very, very neat. And that's an image of her during her experience. Okay, so now we're going to pivot from the UCEAP website and some student testimony to our UCSB Education Abroad website. So this is our campus-specific website. This is only going to tell you about the programs from our campus, right? Where the UCEAP one is a system-wide one, and they were able to show you programs through all campuses. So by going to the academics tab, as I noted here on the screen, you're going to find a menu on the left, which will take you to the by major link, or the by major link on the left, either on the academics menu or on the right-hand side where it says learn more. I would encourage you to just click the learn more one. And that's going to take you to your advising pages by major. So the advising pages by major are as follows. You would be able to select your psychological and brain sciences majors. I apologize. So here is the major advising page for it. This page is where you're going to be able to find specific advice from your department of particular interest in the section of what classes you should take. And if you want to receive major credit for any of your UCEAP classes, you're also going to be able to find some videos and student testimonials for students that studied abroad in your same major, as noted on the screen. And if you scroll down to the page, you're going to be able to find the link to the pre-approved major courses, which the psych advising team will kind of get into more detail later on. Okay, but really quickly, you guys, I do want to emphasize that this is very, very important and a really great starting point for students that want to study abroad in their major. If you come to our office and you share with us that your major and that you really want to study abroad in your major, we're going to redirect you to the same page as well. So it's really important for you guys to kind of use this as a starting point, as well as the UCEAP website. Okay. So moving on to the GAUCHO credit abroad. So another excellent source of information about courses that have been taken for major credit by previous UCSB students is our GAUCHO Credit Abroad database. So this is also found on our UCEAP website under the Academics tab. This database is going to show you the type of credit that Santa Barbara students have received for the courses they've taken abroad. So really, really great resource for a lot of you guys. So if you click on the GAUCHO Credit Abroad link on our website, it'll redirect you to this next slide. And so this slide is what the GAUCHO Credit Abroad database looks like. So when you look up the GAUCHO Credit Abroad for courses taken in psychology or biopsych major credit, you're going to find over 350 course results. So there's a lot of things in there. This is really helpful if you're wondering what programs might offer courses in your specific major, or even what specific classes might count towards your major. Just keep in mind that this is a historical database of what's been done. So it's not going to necessarily tell you what's going to be offered when you plan to go. But it is a really good starting point for a lot of you. In addition to this, we have our UCEAP course catalog, which is a broader resource for students. So the UCEAP course catalog, again, same website that we started with for all the UC system-wide campuses. This is going to provide you with different information in terms of studying abroad, the course catalog, campus credit abroad, emergencies, and things like that. So it's another really great resource for a lot of students. If you look at the UCEAP course catalog for psych courses, you're going to find over 800 courses. And again, you're going to be able to click on those course descriptions and get links to the actual courses and even some syllabi, previous syllabi as well, which is great when you're talking to your major advisors about courses you plan to take abroad. And so some program academics. So if you want to go to the UCEAP website and take a look at the program page for the program that interests you, you're going to be able to find a lot of helpful program details, including dates and eligibility, academics, housing costs, and support and safety, and so on and so forth. I do, however, want to redirect you to the academics tab, because that academics tab is going to give you the most accurate course information, including the number of courses and credits you're going to be expected to take. If it's a host university program, such as the one for the National University of Singapore, there's going to be direct links to the university or course catalogs and so on and so forth. So this is a really, really great resource for a lot of students to do that exploration. This is also where you will be able to find, I know housing is a big topic of conversation on our campus, but you'll be able to find more housing information in terms of dormitories or apartment style and things like that. Okay. So now I'm going to turn it over to your advisors. I believe this is Elsie's slide. So Elsie, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, introduce yourself. I could also unshare my screen and you can share it on your own, but I figured I'd incorporate it into ours.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then I'll just tell you next slide when to move on to the next slide. All right. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for everyone for participating today. Joaquin, myself, and also a new advisor, Sana, are your major advisors for the Department of Psychology and Brain Sciences, and we're so happy to have you all here. So next slide, please. So all of your major advisors are here with you today to basically help guide you on your study abroad journey. And so why study abroad? Elizabeth brought up some great points earlier on why you should study abroad, but we would like to just mention a few more. For starters, study abroad is a really great opportunity to earn UC credit abroad. So you may take courses that are pre-approved for the PBS or biopsych major and make progress towards your overall major. But even if you don't make progress towards your overall major, there are courses that are not pre-approved for the PBS or biopsych major. You can earn credit and still earn units towards your overall degree. Something else to consider as to why you should study abroad is that you can obtain a well-rounded education. It helps broaden your world perspective. And also the best point of all, in my opinion, is that you can create friendships and also learn more about yourself. Next slide, please. So this is really the meat of the topic today. Within the PBS department, we have two majors. We have the Psychological and Brain Sciences major, also abbreviated PBS for short. Then we also have the Biopsychology major. So I'm going to go over some general guidelines for what we generally recommend students to consider when they're thinking of when they should study abroad and also for how long. So for the PBS major, we generally recommend students to study abroad in their junior year. And for transfer PBS students, we usually recommend students studying abroad during their senior year. This is mainly because by the time you're a third year or you're in your senior year as a transfer student, you already are a full major and you're eligible for your upper division courses abroad, of course. And then something else to note or keep in mind if you're considering studying abroad is that we generally recommend PBS majors to study abroad for 1 quarter, but you can also study abroad up to 1 year. We generally recommend if you're considering 1 quarter to study abroad during the fall semester / quarter, because by the time that your fall semester ends abroad, it's usually December, and then you can come back onto campus during winter quarter and spring quarter to complete the rest of your studies here at UCSB. Now, if you are considering studying abroad for 1 year, that may be possible as long as you're making major progress towards your major, as well as overall degree progress as well. Now, for the biopsychology major, this one's a little bit more tricky because this course is, or this whole major is more sequential based. It's a little bit more rigid. And so this does take a little bit more careful planning when you're considering studying abroad. So if you're a biopsych major, we do recommend, again, to study abroad for only 1 quarter. And while you're abroad during that 1 quarter, make sure that you are taking the time to either take biopsychology lectures abroad or work on your GEs. And then for transfer biopsychology majors, unfortunately, these students don't really have the time to study abroad. So if you do still want to study abroad and that's something that you would like to pursue, we do highly recommend participating in some summer programs. Just to put it out there, some very popular summer programs are the physics summer programs that some of you may want to consider pursuing. And once you've determined which program you want to pursue, you planned out your academic schedule very carefully, you apply by the deadline. If you've been accepted to the UCEAP program, please email your EAP academic planning form to a PBS undergraduate advisor for a signature or approval. That will be something that you will need to do. And then I would also like to highlight at the very bottom in that green box as well, that we have a PBS EAP equivalency log that my colleague Joaquin will go more over in the next slide, but just did want to bring your attention to that. And that is found on our website. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Elsie, and thank you as well as Elizabeth for putting all of this together. My name is Joaquin. I'm one of the undergrad advisors as well for the PBS department. So like Elsie mentioned just previously, all of this information is available on our website. We actually have an undergraduate tab, and under that you'll be able to find the study abroad tab, which pretty much lists all of the information that Elsie and that I will go over right now. So if you've narrowed down your programs to a few or just one and are wondering whether classes that are offered in that university can potentially count towards your major progress, either for the psych and brain sciences or biopsychology major, then you will want to refer to our EAP equivalency log, which is very similar to the GAUCHO credit abroad, which Elizabeth showed us earlier. So here it's all as well. It's a historical database that pretty much lists down all of the courses that previous students have asked our department to evaluate, and it lists down what our faculty determined these courses to be equivalent to in our department, if equivalent to anything. So once, like I said, once you've narrowed down a program of interest, you'll want to check in with this log for major credit to see if there are any classes offered that might be equivalent and therefore might be applied to your major progress. For courses that are not listed on here, so let's say there's a course that you found that will be offered at your abroad university and it's not listed on this EAP log, that will actually require a course evaluation. So what you will need to do is that you will need to gather the syllabus or syllabi of the courses that you would like to have evaluated, and then you would have to compose an email to advising@psych.ucsb.edu, and then we will go ahead and send that forth to our faculty evaluators so that they could determine whether the course is equivalent or not. And of course, if you do have any questions about this or just any study abroad questions in general relating to your major, so again, biopsych or PBS, then you can always email us, or you're welcome to walk into our office as well and sit down with someone. So next slide. And just to kind of bring home the personal reflections here, we have had some PBS staff actually in the past who have attended abroad universities through EAP. So Amanda was one of our previous academic advisors here in the department, and she actually went and studied abroad to the University of Sussex, and she really enjoyed her time there. And Sarah, who was one of our peer advisors in the past, she attended Maastricht University in the Netherlands. And as you can see there, both places are beautiful, and they enjoyed their time there, and they did not regret going abroad. So it's definitely an eye-opening experience. You could learn about a lot of different cultures. Like Elsie mentioned, you could meet a lot of different people who have similar interests or might not have similar interests. And that's like part of the joy of going abroad, is just learning about different parts of the world that might think differently than here in UCSB. So definitely worth going if you have the opportunity. And again, if you have any questions, you could always feel free to contact your EAP advisor or your department advisor. So in this case, us, if you have any major related questions regarding studying abroad. But that is it from our end for PBS advising. Elizabeth, if you wanted to add anything.
No, thank you so much. That was so great. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat so that they could answer them in the next few slides. I do have a couple more slides on EAP's front, and then I will stop sharing my screen and we can kind of open it up for a Q&A session. But thank you guys. Okay, so last few final slides and words for you before we all leave. So my final words of wisdom is to start your planning now. That way you have the most options open to you and that you'll pick the program that best meets your needs. I do want to highlight that you are not able to apply to multiple programs for the same term. That's why it's really important for you guys to make the appropriate decision as to which one program you're going to apply to. So you are able to apply to multiple programs, however, it would have to be different terms, right? So you can't apply to summer in Madrid as well as in Ireland because it's in the same term. You can only do it for one program per term. Again, the more planning you do now, the better decision you will make for which program is going to help satisfy all of your needs. I also encourage you to attend more meetings. We're going to have info meetings running throughout all of the quarter, and they're posted on our website calendar, which I can also share with you guys towards the end. But really also consult your advisors at your academic department, at the college, and within our EAP office. We really do not want you guys to miss out. The next thing is to please right now apply for a passport. So if you have an idea that you might want to study abroad, or that you're really considering it, or you already know for a fact you are going to study abroad, or it is in your plans, we really urge you guys to apply for a passport. If you already have a passport, please take a look at it if you haven't picked it up in a while, and verify when the expiration date is. It is very important for students to have an up-to-date passport and a passport in general. That being said, if you have noticed that your passport's going to expire soon, or that you don't have one, our rec center on our campus is a really, really great resource for you guys. They're going to help with the application processing for passports as well as the renewal process. So we really urge you guys to stop by our office so we can give you more information, or you can shoot me an email and I could pass along the information. There are some programs for the summer and fall that require you to have a passport as early as January or February. I know it seems like ways away, but really, guys, October is kind of already past us. So you really only have about 2 months left to have that passport in hand. So again, we really encourage you guys. Lastly is we are open. Our office is located in South Hall 2431, both the Capital Internship Program office as well as the EAP office. We are located in the same office, which is really exciting. And so that being said, we're open in person. So please, please, please feel free to reach out to us. Although we are open in person, we are operating on the QList system. So we encourage you guys to stop or to swing by our website and take a look at our contact us page. We're open for virtual advising Monday through Friday, as well as in-person advising. However, if you are opting in for any of these services, we are operating on the QList system. So save your trip and log in through QList. And then we'll notify you when to swing by our office. And this is our academic staff for this year. It's composed of peer advisors, some who have gone abroad, our regional advisors, myself, our associate director, our faculty director, and our admin assistant. And we are all very, very excited to have you, especially the regional advisors. If you have an idea of what kind of country you're looking at, for example, if you really were thinking about going to Chile or going to Brazil, we have our regional advisor who is really excited and ready to help you guys, as well as all of them. So thank you guys so much. That concludes our session. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and stop recording. And I'm going to open it up for any questions.